Hello, witches. I am High Priestess Austin Venus. Thank you for hopping on this quick broadcast here live on Instagram, or if you are watching the replay either on Facebook or my YouTube channel. Be sure to share this broadcast with a witch or two or three that needs this word about their enemies, seen and unseen, known and unknown. Go ahead and get a notebook, a notepad, a pen, pencil, crayon, because there is a lot of information that is going to help you on this broadcast today. Witches, needless to say, witches have a lot of enemies. Witches are not well received or well liked, and very rarely are witches loved. But witches exist regardless. Despite how the world sees witches, witches are here. Witches are here to stay. Witches aren't going anywhere. But one thing that witches have to know about their enemies who stupidly come for them, your enemies can't tell the forest from the trees. Your enemies cannot tell the forest from the trees. You may have heard that before, but do you actually know what that means? When somebody says your enemies cannot tell the forest from the trees, it means that person or persons is focused on just one thing and they can't see the whole picture. That's the same for every enemy of a witch. That enemy or enemies of that witch is so focused on that witch, so focused on bringing destruction, chaos, mayhem, evil into the witch's life that they can't see the bigger picture. The bigger picture meaning that they have HECATE, the queen of witches, on their ass. They can't tell the forest from the tree. They cannot tell the forest from the tree. They can't see the bigger picture. They can't see that the bigger picture is the queen of witches on their ass, up their ass, to protect her devotee. I said this 1,000 times and it's still true. Witches are protected by some dangerous and deadly shit. Witches are protected by some dangerous and deadly shit. When you come for a witch, you are not just coming for the witch. You are also coming for the queen of witches. And I have seen what happens to the proud who takes on a witch. I have seen what happens to the proud that takes on a witch. It always ends in grief and sorrow, and the family saying, oh, this person was so good, this person never bothered anybody, just pray for our family. They may end up on a t-shirt, they may end up having a GoFundMe page, because a witch has put a curse on that enemy, and the enemy died because of that curse. Your enemies, witches, cannot see the bigger picture. Your enemies cannot see. They cannot tell the forest from the trees. That saying means somebody's so focused on one tiny, insignificant detail that they can't see the bigger picture. The bigger picture for witches is HECATE, the queen of witches. The bigger picture is HECATE, the queen of witches. Your enemies may right now be laughing, giggling, carrying on, saying, oh, I got her, I got this person, oh, I brought this person down, I was the cause of this witch's downfall. But they don't realize, especially now since Saturn, the planet of karma, is now in retrograde, that they are in deep shit. Because they cannot tell the forest from the trees. They cannot see the bigger picture. They cannot see that their very life is in danger, as it should be. As it should be. If you try to bully a witch, intimidate a witch, trying to get over on a witch, try to lie on a witch, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. And the message for witches after what happens to that person that deserves to be punished is HECATE, the Queen of Witches, will give you multiple blessings in the place that originally hosted chaos, mayhem, sorrow, and grief. She will. She will. If you stay committed to her, if you stay trustful and faithful to HECATE, HECATE will give you multiple blessings in the place that originally hosted grief, sorrow, anguish, chaos, mayhem, disaster. HECATE will take all of that away from you, including any enemies who brought it into your life. Your enemies cannot tell the forest from the trees. They cannot see the bigger picture. It's not because they don't know what they're doing is wrong to the witch. They simply don't care. That's why I tell witches to hand their enemies over to HECATE. Hand your enemies over to HECATE, because she can defend you better than you can for yourself, and she can reward you better than you can for yourself. Don't you ever think that after going through a bad period in your life that you will not be rewarded for still remaining alive. When I say still remaining alive, some witches sometimes commit suicide because of what their enemy or enemies has done or is doing for them. They can't take it, so they off themselves. But that won't be you, though. That will not be you. If you are a devotee of HECATE, or seriously considering being a devotee of HECATE, you won't quit. You won't back down. You won't step aside. You won't back off. You won't run away and hide. That won't be you. That cannot be you. That will never be you. After all of the horrible things your enemy has done to you, they are not getting away with anything. They can believe that they are. They can dream, in your dreams. They can dream that they are. They can pray to their false god. They can gossip with their girlfriends. They can gossip with their family members. But they are not getting away with anything. Saturn, the planet of karma, is in retrograde until November 15th. So they have a long way to go. They have plenty of time to relent, to back off, and to release you from their hold. If they do not, even before November 15th, if they do not release you from their hold, HECATE will have no choice, and you will have no say in how she defends you. Witches have no say in how HECATE, the Queen of Witches, defends them. I would never tell HECATE how to defend me, because she can defend me and you better than I and you can. Because you can't prosecute HECATE. You can't put HECATE on trial. You can't arrest HECATE. You can't charge HECATE with anything. HECATE, the Queen of Witches, is the past, the present, and the future. She is what is known as witches in our community, in our world, as the all. The beginning, the middle, and the end. For witches, the end is always happily ever after. For witches, the end is always happily ever after. Your enemies cannot tell the forest from the trees. They cannot see the bigger picture. They don't realize that HECATE is closing in on them. They can't see that. I don't know if they're blind spiritually or physically blind, but they cannot see the bigger picture. They cannot see that they are dropping the world on their own head. They cannot. They must be spiritually blind, I feel, to not feel the presence, feel the rumble underneath their feet of HECATE approaching. They must not be able to. Your enemies are so focused on you that they don't realize that their enemy is much bigger, taller, is HECATE. It is HECATE. It is the queen of witches. She is mighty in the land. HECATE, the queen of witches, is mighty in the land. She is a powerhouse. HECATE is the ultimate witch. The rewards that HECATE will give you for sticking into this battle that you didn't even ask for will be great in stature, will be phenomenal, will be mind-blowing, will put your family on a fast track for prosperity, abundance, wealth, health. If you want to, fame. If you want to, living in a different neighborhood, living in a different country, having gold, having jewelry, having a happily ever after. When you are a devotee of HECATE, you have a happily ever after in your life. Your life will not end in misery or grief or sorrow or depression or sadness. No, that won't be you. That will be the fate of your enemies, because they chose to go up against a powerhouse like HECATE. HECATE is much more powerful than Jesus, Muhammad, Allah, Hello Kitty, Barney, Super Mario. She's more powerful than all of those works of fiction. But for you, the witch, you will get the spoils of the war that you did not ask to participate in. You will get what your enemy left on the battlefield when HECATE gets finished with them. When HECATE gets finished with them, when the queen of witches gets finished with them, there will not be a whole lot left of them. There may be an arm, a leg, maybe a couple fingers, but not much will be left of your enemies once HECATE has gotten finished with them. Your enemies cannot tell the forest from the tree. They cannot see the bigger picture. They cannot see that their life, as from the moment they decided to attack you, the witch, the moment they decided to have the audacity, to have the balls, to have the titties, tatas, pussy, dick, to attack you, they have chosen to wage a war against the queen of witches, HECATE, that they will lose. HECATE has always said to witches that she will go through the people protecting the enemies of witches to get to them. So if your enemies are being protected by a cousin, auntie, uncle, mama, daddy, it doesn't matter. HECATE will also take them out. Children, babies, whoever, whatever, to get to your enemies. Did you know that? Did you know that HECATE will very often go through the people that are protecting your enemies, and it makes no difference who they are or what they are? It could be the family dog. HECATE will go through that dog. It could be it could be your enemy's mother, father, cousin, kazo, side bitch, whoever, to get to your enemy. Because they are just as guilty for hiding out your enemies so that they can't be touched. A lot of enemies, especially witches, because as witches we know that we have a target on our back. We know. How could we not know? But our shield, our protection, our only protection, if you are a devotee of HECATE, the queen of witches, is HECATE. There is no better protection spell, protection ritual, curse, hex than HECATE, the queen of witches herself. If you ever need help, if you ever have an enemy or various enemies coming at you trying to bring drama to your doorstep or stoop, ask HECATE to take care of them in the best way to keep them permanently away from you. Because she will. because she will. HECATE, the queen of witches, protects her own. Don't see your enemies as these giants. Don't see these enemies as dinosaurs that can't be brought down. Of course they can. They will be brought down and have their skulls cracked if they do not release their hold on you, and they would deserve it. You see, when you ask HECATE to come to your rescue, when you ask HECATE for help, you don't ask her to stop hurting your enemy because you might think she's doing too much. HECATE is not doing too much. She's doing just enough. She knows what's best. She knows the best way to stop an enemy or enemies from advancing towards you. She does. If you ask HECATE for help, do not direct her on how to help you. Because if you could do it by yourself, it would have already been done. You do not direct HECATE, the queen of witches, how to protect you. Because if you could do it all by yourself, you would have no enemies. They would have been taken out of the earth. So now you have to go to the big dog, the big shot, the queen of witches, the past, the present, and the future, HECATE, and let her defend your good name. If you have people trying to lie on you, trying to bring you down, trying to destroy you, to destroy your family members, to destroy your career, to destroy your livelihood, they will not go unpunished. I have seen what happens to enemies that take on a witch. It never ends well. And you will always be informed by HECATE what happened to your enemy. You don't have to wonder if HECATE took care of that person or persons. No. HECATE will let you know. She will show you. You will have some type of proof that you can't understand that your enemies are no more. Because HECATE protects her own, and she comes with receipts that they have gone away permanently. That's one thing I love about HECATE. She protects her own. HECATE has kept a lot of witches out of prison, off of death row. Yeah, she has. She has. Because HECATE can do more for you than you could for yourself. If you were to take matters into your own hands, you would probably be serving a life sentence or be on death row. Am I right? I know I'm right. I know. Whenever a situation or enemy pops up, I give it to HECATE. Because she can defend me better than I can do for myself. Your enemies cannot tell the forest from the trees. What this means is a person cannot see the bigger picture. In this case, the bigger picture is HECATE, the queen of witches. Your enemies are so focused on you, they can't see HECATE behind you protecting you. Because they're spiritually blind or just plain blind, like physically blind. Or they simply don't care. Or they simply mock and laugh at the goddess. But it's no laughing matter. It's no laughing matter. HECATE protects her own. Always. Your enemies cannot tell the forest from the trees. And they will be swallowed up when dusk arrives. When nightfall comes, they will not be here. And you, the witch, will be rewarded. You, the witch, will get the spoils of the war that you did not ask to participate in. You will get the blessings that was left on the battlefield. Just for you. The blessings will be just what you need. Money to pay your bills, a home, a car, vacation, fame, fortune, whatever. It will be just what you want and what you need, both. It will be your wants and needs met. When you emerge from this war, HECATE will give you not just your needs, but your wants. She will give you both. She will give you your wants and your needs. You will not leave that battle, walk away with nothing. empty-handed. You will not. Your enemies will be lucky to leave with their hands. Your enemies will be lucky to leave with their hands, while your hands is full of the spoils of the war, full of the blessings and rewards because you stood your ground. But I'm not so certain that your enemies will leave with their hands or even leave with their life. Because HECATE will very often take a person right out of the earth. HECATE sometimes will kill a person for you. That sounds pretty graphic, but it's true. Sometimes HECATE, the queen of witches, will kill a person for you. And it's nothing to be feeling kind of icky about or strange about. It's the truth. Truth. HECATE protects her own. Your enemies cannot tell the forest from the trees. They cannot. Your enemies think they have piled on top of you. That's a joke. That's laughable. Because they cannot see that the queen of witches is backing you up. And they are going to be put down head first. Or even beheaded. So thank you, witches, for jumping onto this live broadcast. Of course, I will leave this up for the replay. Be sure to share this broadcast with a witch or 2 or 3. Once again, my name is High Priestess or Venus. Tell a couple witches that there is a high priestess here in New York who is anointed and appointed by the Queen of Witches HECATE to be a voice for witches who have ears to hear and hands to receive HECATE's best. I now release you into the rest of your morning. Bye, everyone.